Welcome back to the Champ Car Grand Prix of Mexico City at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez with Derek Daly. I'm Rick Benjamin. Speed on Demand puts the power in your hands because some things are worth living over and over again. Never miss your favorite show. Go to speedtv.com. Get speed on demand. We're just past halfway, riding with Andrew Ranger. The rain started to fall about 10 minutes ago, and that has changed the mix dramatically here at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. Ranger at the moment up to 9th in that MyJack Conquest Walmart machine. He started 16th today. He's gained ground nicely, but the race lead is back in the hands of Justin Wilson in the CCWS car for the Roost Sport team. Won here a year ago, won at Edmonton this summer. Wants to win his second race of the season before things close out. Bourdais is second and Junquera third. Now everybody has rain tires on. We're more than halfway home. Let's recap the first half of the action here today at Mexico City. Incident as they came to the green flag. Catherine Legg and Mario Dominguez got together. Legg's car into the inside retaining wall. Heavy damage to the Bell Micro car. They've repaired it. She's back out there, and she's just a couple of laps down. The damage much heavier to the Rocket Sports 8 car of Dominguez. He's on the track, but he's 5 laps down. The repairs took a while, but both those drivers are back in the hunt. After 7 laps under caution, the green reappeared on lap 8, and Sebastian Bourdais, who lined up second, made a bonsai move to the inside down into 1 and took the point away from Justin Wilson. And Bourdais, the season champion, would lead many laps. Dan Clark's day ended early. A differential problem in the CTE HVM 14 car. Clark second in the Roche France Rookie of the Year standings. Now, Justin Wilson, a little while ago, got back around Bourdais. Same spot, into the front straightaway, down into 1. Wilson, the race leader. Ryan Briscoe's had some tire issues today. He flat spotted a right front. It came apart on the front stretch. He's okay. He's back in the hunt. Now, as the teams were scrambling during the first pit stop sequence, Andreas Wirth in the 19 car and Will Power got together, no damage. Then the rains came, and all the teams had to come to pit road again for wet weather tires. Wilson gave up the lead. The Roost Sport team doing a quick tire change for him. Bourdais came to pit road a lap later. The McDonald's Newman Haas team hoping that he could stay out 1 extra lap and gain a lot of track position on Wilson. Didn't quite work out that way. Wilson right now has a near 7-second lead over Bourdais as they run 1-2. Mario Dominguez still several laps down, shown 17th, 5 laps down to the leaders after that lap 1 incident. Dominguez, though, with a lot to show here. Mexican corporate backing on this car the last couple of races. The Pemex backing big for him. He's certainly hoping to return to Rocket Sports in 2007 and run a full Champ Car season with the proper backing.
At least we have him out there. He is unfortunately 5 laps down. It took that much time to repair the damage to that left front suspension. But meanwhile, up front, people like Ranger are trying to make hay while the sun doesn't shine here. Going reasonably well. Ranger, remember, is an ex-Canadian ice racing champion. So he is good when there is very little grip. Ranger's still in the top 10 in 9th. But Wilson is the class of the field. Was in the dry, more so now that it's raining.
Well, he was in position to perhaps win in Montreal on Monday. Ran out of road. Then I got to the final corner at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve and got into the wall, and that ended his bid. Andrew Ranger's gotten the bonus point. As we told you, he's been great this year at improving his starting position. He's done it 4 times. He's been the most improved 4 times this season. And Ranger, you know, is still a teenager, and he's just done a terrific job, I think, in his 2nd season in Champ Car. Really learning his way nicely from a great racing family up in Quebec. His dad, Robert, a great dirt track racer up there and an accomplished ice racer as well. As we watch Ranger tracking here.
Serbia just ahead of him. Cleans the road a little bit. Sometimes in the rain, you try and follow the wheel tracks of the guy ahead of you because that is a drier line.
Serbia shown in 8th. Ranger is 9th right now. We're past halfway. The unfortunate thing for these teams, Derek, is they had to put the reins on before the second pit window opened, so everyone presumably will have 1 more stop for fuel before we get done here today.
And I don't think it's actually raining as we speak, so the chances are we could, wow, look at that haze of moisture there. We could potentially go back to dry tires there. Buddy Rice has improved here.
Yeah, Buddy Rice has moved up nicely. He's 7th right now. And he has gained considerable ground. They've used pit stop strategy to help him out, and he has driven nicely.
See the way the rain runs off Andrew Ranger's visor. A driver will put something like a Rainix or even a polish, a silicone surface, so the rain literally runs off a rounded surface. Jan?
in the case of Oriol Servia, he was one of those drivers that pitted early to take advantage of that early pit window. Remember, he was on pit road for a new front wing. And you had asked earlier on, was the wing actually damaged or was it a tire mark? It was damaged. It was a good call. The reason he's moved up so much, everyone had to pit early for rain tires. He was already on an early sequence, didn't have to take as much fuel. He is, however, complaining of some push or understeer, making his job difficult.
Will Power was fourth, went way off the road and through the grass. He's back on course, but that's one of the things you run into in this situation when you're racing in the wet. The other thing you've got to watch, Derek, if you do that, your tires get very dirty for a while.
And you see what he did? He realized he was not going to make the corner in any way, shape, or form, and actually just headed straight. Keep the car as straight as you can when you go across the grass. Don't spin it, because when you spin on wet grass, it's like as if you spin on ice. So Power was not trying to pass anybody, so I don't believe there'll be a penalty for what he just did there.
Watching Ryan Briscoe in the Rousport car number 10. Briscoe tried after that tire problem to use a pit stop gamble to get himself to the front of the pack. It didn't pay off as everyone did stop for the rains. That potential advantage went away, and he's shown now 2 laps down after the second tire issue of the day for the 10 car. So it will not be a 1-2 finish today for the Rousport squad here at Mexico City, but Wilson's still the leader. He's got almost 6 seconds of an advantage over Sebastian Bourdais, who has clinched his 3rd consecutive Champ Car championship by virtue of his 8th place finish at Surfers Paradise last month. Here's what happened to Ryan Briscoe earlier. This was just before the rain started to fall. The tire came apart, and they said he had flat spotted that right front.
That would have been right where he flat spotted, where the big hole came into it. But Ryan Briscoe, the day did not unfold as he had wished. He has shown 2 laps down in 15th place, but he had a good qualifying session. They know he is fast. He at least got to leave that calling card that he does have the speed.
Let's go down the front straightaway into turn number 1. Western Union on board with CDW, the Rousport 10 car. This is, of course, the car that A.J. Allmendinger and Cristiano D'Amata have driven this season. And D'Amata's recovery now in Brazil, Derek. He's taken a sharp turn for the better in the last few days.
Bruno Junqueira spoke to him yesterday, and he is in great form. Doctor told him he can now drive his road car, so he is active. But his recovery has been, although very scary initially, been better than anticipated. But good on you, Cristiano.
As we watch Alex Tagliani, a couple of top 3 finishes this season for Tag, who's 5th in that Team Australia Aussie Vineyards car. Not certain where Tag will be plying his trade in 2007. He's another of those drivers who may well be auditioning for a job next season. There's been talk, of course, that Team Australia might field 2 Australian drivers, Will Power being one of those next year.
Yeah, talk that Ryan Briscoe may end up there. Another quick Australian. I mean, they make no bones about it. This team was set up to support Australia. Nelson Philippe goes straight on, just like Will Power did. Again, not trying to pass anybody, just trying to save his equipment.
25 laps to go here in Mexico City. Philippe back to 6th now as Tag gets by. An off-course excursion for the Wellbox car number 4, the CT HVM machine, costing Philippe a spot, but he rides 7th. Servia, Ranger, and David Martinez now rounding out the top 10. Philippe 4th in the championship, had that top 3 run at Milwaukee on the oval, and then the victory at Surfers Paradise, and he was close a couple of other times, Derek. We thought at Toronto he might steal the win this summer.
He's had an outstanding season, there is no doubt. You forget that he's only 20 years old. What I found very interesting is that his win in Australia was only his 2nd ever win in any racing event. That was remarkable, Jan.
A moment ago you said 25 laps to go. Consider you can run 26 laps on a load of fuel, meaning that there will only be 1 more pit stop in this race for everyone. The rain is starting to, it's still raining, but it's raining less. So the question is, when do you pit and what tires do you take if it starts to dry?
Right now, the track conditions are still pretty wet, and I would think if anybody was going to gamble here, it might be to stop now, hope for a yellow, try to go all the way to the end, because you could get there from this point. As we watch, on board Justin Wilson's machine, Cameron Steele.
They asked Justin Wilson just a few moments ago if the track is drying up, and he said it is stabilizing, so not really sure. Mixed review there from Justin Wilson. Remember, he grew up in Sheffield, England, where there's a fair bit of rain, so stabilizing for him may be a little different for him than the rest of the drivers.
If there's one guy here who should be at home in the wet conditions, it's Wilson.
Absolutely. Well used to driving in these type of conditions. Lots of racing, particularly the front and back end of seasons in England. So Wilson, this is going his way. Now the lead, talk about stabilizing, Bourdais is running about the same time as Wilson, a 10th here, 10th there. So it's 6 seconds lead, which it was about 5 laps earlier. Junqueira is about a second slower than the front runners, but Will Power and Tagliani, believe it or not, are still running at the front runners' pace in the rain.
They are 4th and 5th. Philippe 6th in front of Rice. Battling for position a little further back. You've got Rice, Servia, Ranger, and Martinez all close together here. That's the car of Andreas Worth. That's the Dale Coyne Sonny's Barbecue entry. But this is battling for position. Rice, Servia, and Ranger ranked 7th, 8th, and 9th as we get on board the Walmart machine of Andrew Ranger.
This is where you need the traction. Listen. Nice feather of the throttle to keep the back end underneath him. Rice now realizes in the rain, suddenly it's hard to see in your mirrors. You just see a blur of color. Here comes the blur going by him. Oh!
Near hit.
Boy, that was close.
Martinez and Servia. Buddy Rice in the mix there as well. Buddy Rice getting passed there by Oriol Servia for position. So Rice moves back and Servia moves up. And here comes the 27 car of Andrew Ranger. Closes right in on Buddy Rice's rear wing.
In the brake zone. Ranger's been driving this thing hard all day. Every time we've been on board, every time we've watched him, he's got it on the limit. He's on the brakes. He's aggressive. He is definitely given us a good workout this afternoon.
Andrew Ranger lined up 16th there today. This is out of Montreal.
All these engines, of course, have pop-off valves. This is the last time you'll ever see a pop-off valve. Since 1979, pop-off valves were used on the top of these engines in Champ Car. No longer, because it's all electronically controlled next year on the new Champ Car.
One of the things I think we're seeing now, Derek, as we watch that battle, and here comes Servia now. He will try to get to the inside of Worth, who's a couple of, he's 1 lap down, Worth in 14th spot, so that's not a battle for position. It's dry at some parts of the racetrack right now. The rain's only falling in certain areas.
Watch Ranger here. He's well positioned.
Battling with Rice.
Yeah, that's a long straight. That's Rice ahead of him. No. Oh. Boy, that's a long way behind to try and make a run down the inside.
So Rice hangs on. Servia up to 7th behind Philippe now. Rice shuffled back to 8th, Ranger in 9th. 22 laps to go.
They're trying to get 19 out of your way. They're trying to get Worth out of there, so expect hopefully we'll get by him.
Andrew Ranger hearing from his crew that Champ Car asking Andreas Worth to move out of the way and let this battle proceed. Worth back in 14th, a lap down to the leaders. Charles Wolzman pitting for his final time today. Wolzman 12th. The MyJack Conquest 34, so an early stop for Wolzman, which, along with Jan Halen, those two drivers could vault to the front, depending on how this plays out.
I'm surprised I have not seen Andrew Ranger go offline. He's still using the racing line, even though it's wet. That suggests it's not really wet through those racing lines.
22 to go in Mexico City. Wilson with a 5.5-second lead over Bourdais. Philippe leads Servia, Rice, and Ranger. David Martinez in 10th. Paul Tracy not with us this weekend. Injured at home several days ago. Paul Tracy with 9 top 10s, though, during the season. Back in Mexico City, and a reminder, Friday on Speed, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series season finale, the Ford 200 at Homestead. They've been battling all year, the championship down to one final race. Todd Bodine and Johnny Benson in the hunt for the championship. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series Ford 200 live from Homestead, Friday night, 7:30 Eastern, only here on Speed. Alongside Derek Daly, I'm Rick Benjamin. Our desert assassin Cameron Steele on pit road, along with Jan Bikas as we ride here in the Pemex car number 8. Mario Dominguez several laps down. This is a look from the helmet cam of Wayne Hill, one of the tire changers for the Rocket Sports squad.
Awesome pictures. Just how hectic it can be. Then it's his responsibility to hold the driver until he sees the fueler pull the fuel hose out, and he lets him go.
Dominguez back in action. He was taken out of contention, certainly, and that's shunt at the start. When the field came to the green flag, he and Catherine Legg got together. Dominguez 17th, 6 laps down.
I can't believe Andreas Wirth has been given a black flag. He's been told to move over. He either cannot hear the radio, does not see his pit board, or all of the above. He's now gone off into the pit lane, so he must have known, yet he waited a whole lap holding up the train of 4 cars who spent the last 4 or 5 laps right behind him.
Serbia 7th, Ranger 8th, Rice and Martinez nose to tail. This is Rice here in the 7 car for the Forsyth team, and Martinez in the Telmex Index car behind. Martinez takes a look on his teammate. Ranger up in 8th now behind Serbia. So Wirth makes his pass through pit road to serve his black flag penalty. And the Sonny's barbecue car, he'll return to the fray. Well, the first 2 Champ Car Atlantic rounds of this season at Long Beach and Houston. Thought he might well have been a championship contender. He drove for the Forsyth Atlantic team this year, but the season ended up in the hands of Simone Pagenaud.
There's something about this kid Martinez, because they've now thrown him into the deep end. They've now given him rain, changing conditions. He has not put a wheel wrong. I think he has a big future ahead of him. Buddy Rice is a lot more experienced, yet Martinez is right behind him.
Speaking of behind, I'm sorry, Derek, Will Power wants 3rd away here from Junqueira. This is for position, and Power goes inside Bruno.
Bruno went too wide. Bruno braked way too late, scrambled around the outside, and Will Power, who we saw go off the road through the grass earlier, has an Australian potentially in a position for a podium. That has not happened since Jeff Brabham in 1987 in Miami.
And look at how dry it is on the back side of the course. Very wet over here on the front stretch, but on the back side, it's really almost dry completely.
Okay, so now, to follow up on what Jan Bika said earlier on, now, not only what tires do you put on, when do you put them on? Because if you judge the drying conditions absolutely perfectly, in other words, if you put dries on, and you don't lose time to the guys on wets, that is the perfect time to make the stop. Power running away now from Bruno.
Will Power moves to 3rd in car number 5. He is the Rush Rounds Rookie of the Year. And look at that consistency mark. He's got the most laps completed this year. That's put him in contention in the standings overall and has given him the Rookie of the Year honors in that car number 5 for the Aussie Vineyards team.
And you saw him earlier in a head-to-head with Tagliani. Down to the brake zone, he was the brave one, went down the inside and took the position away from Tag, and he is one of the drivers that is beginning to use this higher line now, because as the track dries out, these wet weather tires overheat and it just scorches the rubber off, so you need to seek out the wet weather, which is what he's doing here. Look, way offline on the front straight here to cool these wet weather tires.
Now here's the battle again for 3rd. This is the move Power makes by Junqueira.
Junqueira just looked as if he braked too late. Actually, he braked too late because Power had actually given up. He said, I'm not going to make it. Forced Bruno to brake late, probably because he was in his mirrors.
Now Bruno has stopped again with 18 laps to go. Jan Bikas, what did they do? Did they put dries on?
No, they still left the wet tires, but they put some new wet tires that have some sharp edges, but they did add front wing. A lot of discussions up and down pit road here. I just don't think there's any way you could go with slicks right now. If you had a lot of fuel on board, you would keep running and running as late as you possibly could. But it would be a tremendous gamble to go slicks now.
18 laps to go. Wilson with 48 laps on the board, about to be 49. Retains the lead as he closes in behind Martinez. Martinez in 10th, maybe in danger of going a lap down here. Wilson's got a 4.5 second lead over Sebastian Bourdais. Now all these cars need one more stop for some fuel. And the question will be, do you change to dry weather tires? Well, race leader has been Justin Wilson in the CDW9 car. Let's listen as he tries to navigate this still damp racetrack. Justin Wilson putting lap number 50 of 66 on the board today here at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. And Derek, in the last lap, Wilson has pulled away from Bourdais. He's added 4 seconds to his lead. And they're both on wet weather tires.
I can only imagine Bourdais has either made a mistake or he has had a little bit more trouble navigating through traffic. Usually, though, when the leaders come up behind you, the slower guys actually give you room. So maybe Bourdais did make a mistake.
Wilson now with plenty of sunshine. Well, track distance anyway. Not much sunshine here at the moment between his car and that of the season champion.
You mentioned Paul Tracy earlier on. I spoke to him on the phone last night. He is confined more or less to his house for 3 weeks because of the broken shoulder blade, which is a bit like Montoya's accident when he drove the McLaren earlier this year. Paul thought he could accelerate the recuperation process and the healing process and overdid it and put himself back. Oh, Justin has armfuls. So we miss Paul Tracy. He is the big star of Champ Car, so we certainly miss him. I'm sorry that he's sitting on his couch watching what we do here. Look at Wilson use all the roads.
Nearly caught the wall. He put a wheel in the grass there momentarily. Wilson's got a big lead. He needs to tiptoe here for a while. Wilson getting back up to speed.
So it's this half, the left side of the racetrack that's wet. The right side of the racetrack, as you look down the middle, is what's dry, Cameron.
Well, talking to Justin Wilson before the race, he said the part that hurts the most is when the back end of the car starts to come out from underneath him and he has to snap his arms back. That is when he's under the most pain. And also reporting from their pit.
Al Cameron Steele. A technical issue there. We'll try to get back and hear more from him in a few moments. He's got a big week coming up because he'll be taking his Desert Assassins off-road team down to the Baja in a couple of days to race the legendary Baja 1000. And we wish him all the best. It's been a fun season, certainly, to have Cameron with us for the first time this year. Watching the 3-time Champ Car champion Bourdais in the McDonald's car, 7.5 seconds back. Now, he gained a second back on Wilson on the last lap. He badly wants to win, Derek. Here he's got 15 laps to try to get up to the lead.
That's Brian Lyles, right side of your screen, general manager, one of my engineers in Formula One back in 1980 at the Tyrrell F1 team, watching over Bourdais. We did hear that he may make a pit stop relatively soon. I think they might realize that's the only way they can gamble potentially to beat Wilson. Jan?
And there was animated discussions going on down here in Newman Haas between Craig Hampson and also Brian Lyles. They're talking about tires. I don't think they're considering going to slick tires. They're thinking about not changing tires or only changing 2, or they're trying to come up with something that they can think of to increase the chances that Bourdais can close the gap. They keep watching the weather carefully, and uncharacteristic of Craig Hampson said, sorry, we're too busy right now, when we asked him for a comment.
Trying to figure out a way to win, even though they've got the championship locked up. No chance that anything could happen to take that away from them here, but they want to close the year with a victory.
Use push to pass when you catch traffic. Push to pass to get around traffic.
And Bourdais got plenty of it, a minute.
Yeah.
More than a minute. He's got more than 2 minutes, in fact. 134 seconds of Cosworth power to pass time.
And that was Craig Hampson, his engineer. Is that Martinez he's coming up behind? Or is it Rice?
Bourdais down into turn number 1. Rice is 9th, Martinez is 10th, so he would be catching Martinez first. 22 for 58. Bourdais with an incredible winning percentage.
And that 22 wins puts him the second most successful driver ever in a Lola. The Lolas will be done as of this race. Most successful driver in a Lola, Michael Andretti. And they sort of go out without much fanfare, but Lola has been so good to Champ Car over the last, I don't know how many years. Lola is such a stalwart of motorsports. There it is there. There's some of the numbers. Remarkable, just remarkable.
Tied for 13th all-time in career victories already in just his 4th Champ Car season. Tied for 7th career with Paul Tracy for the number of poles. He's won 14 times from the pole. 17th on the Champ Car list all-time with the number of laps led. And he's gaining ground on Wilson, Derek. He's now 6 2/3 seconds back last time by. Laps winding down, 14 to go. He's not out of this.
He's putting the big effort in here right now as Carl Haas and Paul Newman watch on. Haven't seen Paul here this weekend, but Carl Haas, a distributor of these Lola cars and parts for 43 years. seldom did you ever hear of a relationship anywhere going on that long.
Bourdais down the front straightaway.
Now it's down to 5.7.
Will Power trying to gain on the leaders as well. Power is third, hoping to get to the podium here today. 38 seconds, though, behind the leader, and he's got a 30-second lead over his teammate Alex Tagliani, who's fourth. We talked to Will Power about this rookie season in Champ Car.
I've come on well in the second half of the year. I've gained experience. I'm really understanding the car, and I know exactly what I want from it and what actually makes it fast. So that with the shaker rig testing and just everyone in the team bonding is, it's, you know, I think we've all come together really well.
And they have come together nicely because Power has just improved week by week.
In my opinion, the most improved driver of the year is Will Power. We'll know exactly who it is at the Champ Car banquet
next week,
which happens in Indianapolis next week. Nelson Philippe won the Bosch Most Improved Driver Award last year, but I don't know how you could look past Will Power, what he has done, particularly how strong he has been on the back half of this season. And of course his teacher is Derek Walker, who's one of the very best.
Race leader Justin Wilson here in the CCWS car for the Rousport team. Wilson's led a lot of laps, fast qualifier, trying to go back to back. He's going to pit.
Work on your marks here.
Okay, what is Bourdais going to do? Will Bourdais now do the exact opposite and stay out? This is the exact opposite of what happened earlier. Bourdais stayed out. He stayed out.
Quick stop. We're going to need a great out lap. Clear, clear, clear.
Wet weather tires stay on the 9 car.
Great
These
outlet.
tires are cold.
And it's got heavier fuel. Bourdais is lighter, and he began to eat into your lead. So the race could unfold right here between now and when Sébastien Bourdais elects to make his pit stop.
12 laps to go. Bourdais takes the lead with Wilson making a green flag stop.
Whoa, this is going to be close here.
Now this is the dry portion of the racetrack. Backside of the course is much drier than the front stretch. Bourdais out in front.
He's got to be careful on the dry stuff here that he doesn't toast these wet weather tires. It's a softer compound, and you can easily run the compound, run the rubber literally off the road, burn it off the road, off the tire.
Will Power stopping from third to get a new set of wet weather tires. Bourdais stays on the tires he'd been using.
There's that dry line. See, he turns in with understeer. The front begins to turn, and it won't bite. Oh, he moves out just to cool the tires down.
He's got to find damp conditions wherever he can now.
I think Hampson and Seawick are going to monitor how quickly he can go and leave him out there. If he's quick enough, they might just stretch this further. Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
We have 11 laps to go. Will these tires last 11 laps?
Did he say yes?
Understand, they will last 7.
They're telling him they will last.
They're going to do a dash of fuel. They're going to stay out, run them as long as they can on light fuel, do a splash and go, and hope that beats Wilson.
18.5 seconds is the lead for Bourdais at the moment. Last time by, Wilson second. Power, Tagliani, and Bruno Junqueira the top 5.
Oh.
Philippe and Servia fighting it out for 6th.
Oh, this is good stuff here. Graham Rahal has been here with the team all weekend long. Hopes to drive for the Newman Haas team next year. Says he'll drive for somebody. The conjecture is that it's Newman Haas.
Thus the speculation about Bruno Junqueira's future. Sébastien Bourdais, we know, will be back in the McDonald's car, going for a 4-peat in Champ Car next season. Bourdais back in the lead. Different tire strategy for Bourdais. They've left him out there. Wilson stopping a moment ago for a fresh set of wet weather tires. Coming up on 10 laps to go at Mexico City. There's your top 5. We'll be back with more. Race leader Sébastien Bourdais on pit road. Final stop of the day.
They're going to do a splash and go. This is the gamble.
It's going to be fuel only. Do not jack the car up. Have the starter ready.
Do not jack the car up.
No tire change.
Starter ready in case he kills it. Okay, where's Wilson? Here comes Wilson.
Around the Peraltada.
Okay, Bourdais has gone down. He's almost at the end of the pit lane. Here comes Wilson.
Wilson on the front stretch trying to take the lead back.
Yes, he takes it.
Wilson blows by Bourdais at the exit of pit road. So Justin Wilson back in front. 9 laps to go at Mexico City.
And now it is a straight fight, but Wilson has the newer, better tires. Jan?
Well, consider the fact that was a 5-second pit stop, and Sebastian Bourdais does have warm tires. Think back to what happened in Montreal. The trick was to not change tires, because if the track is drying, they wear more. When you wear out a rain tire, it becomes more like a slick. So now not only is it a battle of pit stops, but one has 2 stint tires, one has 1. Which one will be faster on a drying racetrack?
I go for Wilson.
I'll tell you, though, it is starting to dry out here on the front side. We can now see a groove on the main straightaway right in front of our booth location as we watch Justin Wilson on the backside work the S's where it is dry. On the front stretch, there's dry racetrack now as well. So that could play to Bourdais' favor.
I'll be shocked if Sebastian Bourdais can reel him in. On the last lap, right before Bourdais made his pit stop, Wilson was 1.4 seconds a lap faster on the fresher tires. Now the fuel loads are about the same in the cars. The only difference is the tires. There's Bourdais, top of your picture.
That's the gap between first and second. There'll be 8 laps to go next time by. Andrew Ranger making his final stop of the afternoon for the MyJack Conquest Walmart team. Here's your race leader, the CDW9 of Justin Wilson. Final corner to the front straightaway. One more look at Bourdais' stop. Just a splash of fuel.
This was as good as you get.
Little wing adjustment there.
Mechanics are behind the wing in case he stalls. It helps him out. Push him, push him. Oh, Wilson sees him right side just as he passes the end of the pit wall.
Wilson there and Ranger side by side at the end of turn 1. And there's Bourdais. You can see him top of your screen. That's the gap between first and second. Less than 8 laps to go. 4.5 seconds the lead for Wilson.
Oh, this is good stuff here. Now, Bourdais had really settled into a great rhythm right before that pit stop.
Now, Andrew Ranger has just stopped, so he's got fresh rubber. I think Bourdais may have a problem just getting around Ranger to get to Wilson.
Surely he'll let him pass. He will not hold up the leader. I don't believe he will. He'll get blue flagged to move over just in case he does.
On board Ranger in that tied Walmart machine for the MyJack Conquest squad. And here's your race leader, Wilson, in the CDW9. 4.5 seconds, Wilson's lead. He claimed the lead a lap ago as Bourdais went to pit road for a quick splash of fuel. Kept the same rain tires on.
Oh,
the conditions are drying now.
Where's Bourdais? Look how far behind he is when you go on board. Our Andrew Ranger onboard camera looking backwards. You can see Bourdais there, but when you look on the camera, it's a long way.
Oriol Serbia from 7th makes his final stop for a splash of fuel. They exit the bus stop, hit that Peraltada 180-degree right-hand sweeper as we ride with Ranger here.
And there's that pop-off valve, bottom of your screen. Since 1979, it has been on these Champ Car engines and no more as of next year. There's Bourdais right there. 2.7 seconds. He is closing in on Wilson.
7 laps to go here in Mexico City in the 2006 Champ Car World Series season.
Yikes. Wilson has a lot of push, a lot of understeer.
It's drying out quickly here, and all these cars have rain tires.
How sore is the wrist? How much has he used his left hand and left arm? Rumor was that he began to get a cramp because he used it so much in the dry.
Yeah, last lap Bourdais had a 1.8 second advantage on Wilson. Ran a 1:37.18 on the wet weather tires.
Well, Bourdais made the call. He said, no, the tires are good enough. Don't change it. They said, okay, a splash of fuel. That is what this race may come down to. I would say if you're in Bourdais' pit, you're feeling pretty good right now. Now look how much closer he is to Ranger.
Laps are winding down. There will be 6 to go next time by as they work the S's on the backside. Final race of the 06 season. Point championship decided. Wilson needs to finish 7th or better, and it looks like that will happen to claim 2nd in the championship. Allmendinger not here. And that was important to the Roo Sport team coming in this weekend.
Easy, but he just stole him. And you mentioned earlier he had almost 2 minutes of Cosworth power to pass left. You know he's going to use it right now to at least get by Andrew Ranger. Jan?
Down here with Craig Hampson, who of course had to make that call. You decided to go with tires that had miles. Are they faster in these conditions?
Well, we talked to Sebastian about it, and we said, all right, they got to do, 11 more laps. Will they last? The pit stop's quicker, not changing the tires, but being on used tires is a little slower. So it's just a trade-off. I thought maybe we could stand a shot getting in front of Justin, but we just didn't manage to get close enough.
What about the case when the track dries on 2 stint tires? Might they be faster like some people were in Montreal?
Yeah, I mean, anything's possible. I think things are probably as they're going to finish at this point, because catching them is one thing, but getting by them's another. So Justin's just done a heck of a job today. I'm impressed. Broken hand and all, man. He's been fast. They've done a good job.
Congratulations on a great season.
Yeah, McDonald's team really proud of everything we've accomplished. We'll see you next year.
Here's the telltale. Last lap, Wilson 38.08. Bourdais 38.05, 0.03 of a second difference with only 6 laps to go.
Well, the gap is tightened. You've got Ranger between the first and second place cars here in the Walmart machine. Ranger 8, the lap down to the race leader. Serbia in front of him in 7th, but it doesn't look as though there's enough time now. Wilson may have been taking it easy, and then he got word that Bourdais was closing down on it.
I don't think so, but Bourdais has not caught Ranger as fast as I anticipated he would. He's all over him right now. But here's the problem. That's a first gear chicane. Look, he accelerates. Oh, he's got him. Ranger pulls aside. I think Ranger was told to pull aside.
Bourdais moves around the 27 car.
5 laps to go in the fight.
Wilson and Bourdais not quite nose to tail. Bourdais over start finish, 61 on the board, 2.2 seconds the gap. How about that? 2:04 at the end of the front stretch.
Oh, Bourdais just did a 37.8, which is half a second faster than Justin Wilson. It's a dogfight right now. It is a straight fight. The decks are cleared, boys. Go at it.
And that was in a situation where he had to get by Ranger. Ranger might have held him up a little bit.
This could be interesting here. Go at it, boys. Is Wilson with a damaged right arm strong enough to hold off the advances of a 3-times champion here?
Ryan Briscoe makes his final stop of the day as we ride with Wilson.
A screw inserted in the wrist, in the scaphoid bone to bolt him back together. They brought Adam Carroll from Ireland to run here just in case Wilson was not strong enough. Carroll drove here on Thursday literally to get him up to speed, and I think Bourdais is even closer now as they go through the S's.
There'll be 4 laps to go. Next time by, teams watching, some of the crew members for the CDW team and the McDonald's team watching from the timing stands there as we watch Wilson in that Roosport car number 9.
Whoa.
Bourdais right with him now.
What a way to finish the season here. Now, can he use the Cosworth power to pass to his advantage here? This is where Wilson has been good. Off this hairpin or the chicane and through the Peraltada. Oh, this is close. End of the season close.
4 laps to go as the leader comes by.
Clear ahead. 4 more laps.
And the gap down to less than a second. Bourdais took 1.3 seconds out of the lead the last lap.
That's a huge chunk. That is big. Bourdais is particularly good in the brake zone, it appears.
Craig Hampson not showing us all of his cards, obviously, a moment ago as he chatted with Jan Beekes.
I am so surprised that Bourdais' tires are as good as they are. What a call it appears to be by Bourdais to certainly put him in a position to maybe make a challenge here.
Wilson with an eye on the mirrors. There'll be 3 to go next time by. Wilson hoping for a back-to-back win here at Mexico City. Bourdais would like to be 7 for 14. He would like to claim victories in literally half of the Champ Car World Series schedule this season. And a come-from-behind drive, and he's right there.
So how much push to pass? Wilson has 47 seconds. Is that enough?
Bourdais has 29 seconds. He's burned a lot of his. So Wilson can play defense. He can be on the button here the last several laps on the front straightaway.
Jeremy Dale, the president of Roo Sports, watches. A lot of people from...
29 seconds. 29 seconds.
Now remember, under these circumstances, Bourdais right there. Bourdais right on the back wing of Wilson's car.
He's trying to get the run out of the
On
hairpin.
the outside now, side by side into the Peraltada.
Now you can use the push to pass. They're side by side still.
To the front straightaway for the lead. Bourdais wants the win.
Oh, Wilson's trying to hang on.
Oh, Bourdais gets out of the loose stuff and almost loses it.
to pass. Great job there.
Man,
Looked like Bourdais was on the high side at Eldora there for a moment out in the wet stuff. Jeremy Dale looking on from the Roosport timing stand.
Bourdais was slow. Wilson was slow through the chicane. Jan?
I'm just speculating. The place that Wilson had the most trouble muscling the car when he started to lose strength in his wrist was at the chicane.
Yes.
So that may not have been track conditions. I wonder here in the waning laps if he just physically is having a hard time getting it through there.
It's exactly the question we asked him at the top of the show. He says, I don't know. I don't know if my right wrist will be strong enough towards the end of this race. He is in a fight right now.
Riding with Justin Wilson, Bourdais the champion right there. Wilson with 1 win this year, Bourdais with 6. Wilson the winner here a year ago, defending his position. These two started on the front row. Wilson the pole sitter.
Bourdais knows now that he cannot ride round the cushion on the outside of the Peraltada. He's got to come up with a different strategy. He has to be close enough to Wilson to at least get a draft down this long straight if he's going to make an attempt to pass.
2 laps to go next time by. They're on the backside here at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez.
Cushion.
That's an Australian term, isn't it?
Oh, here it is again. Oh, Wilson's good. Good this time. Much better this time.
He knows there's heavy pressure on him. He doesn't allow Bourdais to get alongside this time. They'll get the 2 to go from J.D. Wilbur this time by.
That was a great shot through that chicane by Justin Wilson.
15 seconds. He's not using it. 2 to go.
Bourdais not using it because
They're both on the button. No, they're both on the button. We have the telemetry. They are both on the button. Wilson played defense and got on the power to pass button.
Oh, Paul Newman is here. He did make the trip. He is watching his team. Sebastian Bourdais, his driver.
Bourdais unable to chop into the lead last time by start finish. 3/4 of a second the gap for Wilson.
Still has 3 seconds. He has 1 more shot.
Who has?
Bourdais has 1 more squeeze of the button. Now he gets a full front straightaway burst, even though the clock shows 3 seconds.
How much does Wilson have?
19.
Okay.
So he can use it a couple of times here.
He can match him.
It looks as though Bourdais would not have some on the last lap.
There's his dad, Patrick Bourdais, right there, still races himself in France. Made the trip to see his son, and he's enjoying this.
White flag this time by the leaders right there. Justin Wilson, Sebastian Bourdais, nose to tail on the backside through the S's.
And Bourdais knows he can't pass him through the S's. Now, as you come off the last left-hander right here, oh, Wilson stretches it, which means Bourdais cannot outbrake him down the inside to the chicane. Here's the chicane. Just do what you did last time.
He's got to be flawless off the corner.
He was. Bourdais is closer, though. He's closer.
White flag this time by Wilson by 3 car lengths over Bourdais.
Hit the juice.
Need to use it here. Last lap. But
Wilson's on the button. Bourdais is going to sell, and Bourdais jumps on the power to pass button as well. Wilson plays defense. He's watching the mirror. You can see his eyes.
2 of the best here going at it.
Last time around this 2.77 mile circuit.
Key brake zone. There's the McDonald's team versus CDW. This is as good as it gets at the end of the season for the last race. Last lap, last race for a Lola.
Wilson by a car length. Here comes Bourdais. He's going to try the inside. Wilson defends. Bourdais has room.
Risky move. Risky move at the S's.
Wilson makes his car wide. Bourdais on the inside. Oh, there's contact. Oh, pieces go flying. Bourdais clipped Wilson and took part of his wing off.
You got to finish this thing. You still have 1 more application.
Bourdais clipped Wilson to get the lead. Oh, there was contact. Bourdais got into Wilson, trying to bonsai him on the inside of the corner.
Yes, he did. Down the inside, got it sideways in a slide. Looked like a bit of a Paul Tracy type move, and Bourdais keeps it straight, and he looks like he will be the winner.
Now the question is, will there be any review of the pass? Because there was definitely contact and
Wilson's in trouble.
Wilson locks up the brakes, goes through the bus stop. Bourdais will scoot home. J.D. Wilbur and Jim Swindoll with the checkered flags in hand on the front straightaway to close out the 2006 Champ Car World Series season. Sebastian Bourdais will be first under the checkered flag in Mexico City.
Wow. What a race. What a move. What a champion.
No indication from Champ Car Race Control that they're reviewing the pass by Bourdais. It appears that Bourdais has won his 7th race of the season. A last lap pass of Justin Wilson when there was contact. Parts flew after the contact. And Wilson,
not impressed.
Not impressed.
I don't think that was malicious. I do not believe that was malicious.
So Justin Wilson led a ton of laps here today in 2 different stints, but gives up the lead on the final couple of turns to the champion, Sebastian Bourdais, who closes out 2006 with his 7th win.
Here it is again. He made it, tried it earlier on. Ooh! As he goes down the inside, he locks up the rear brakes. He realizes he puts his front over the curbing. And then his dad on the left side of your picture, Patrick Bourdais, and the rest of his crew realize, I think we might have won this thing.
A three-wall bank shot by Sebastian Bourdais to take the lead away from Justin Wilson on the final lap of the season.
And that's the most smoke I've seen from donuts this year because of the wet weather soft compound tires. What a race.
Well, Derek, what do you think? Was that a legitimate pass for the win?
Yes.
Even with the contact?
Yes.
Sebastian Bourdais wins his 7th of the season in the McDonald's car number 1. All right, a lot of stories to wrap up in 2006, and we will be back to do that for you in just a moment here in Mexico City. Welcome back. Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series, powered by Ford. Season finale, Grand Prix at Mexico City complete. The confetti in victory lane for now 7-time winner and 3 consecutive championships for Sebastian Bourdais, who bonsai'd his way by Justin Wilson with just a couple of turns left in the season. Bourdais, with contact with Wilson over the curb, and gets to victory lane. Runner-up today, Justin Wilson, down to Cameron Steele.
Well, I've caught up with Craig Hampson. Very happy. Quite a gamble there at the end. I mean, are you surprised it paid off?
Well, I mean, we thought that the used tires, not changing tires was the right thing to do, or else we wouldn't have done it like that. But honestly, I think Justin was just struggling at the end there. I'm sure his hand was just killing him, and he was making some mistakes. He was kind of off the pace. I feel a little bad there was some contact, but I'm thrilled for Sebastian. He did such a great job in the rain. I mean, statistically, that's the best year the McDonald's team has ever had. It's the most points that we've scored. We tied the number of wins we had in 2004. I'm thrilled. It was great. It was really good.
Congratulations on a magnificent season, Craig.
Thank you very much.
The thoughts of Craig Hampson, team leader for the McDonald's car, and champion Sebastian Bourdais. Huge throng of fans. Bourdais got a standing ovation as he brought that one car to a halt here on the front straightaway.
And there's no doubt that race had the wow factor, but let's not forget, Will Power, Team Australia, are about to get onto the podium also. Will Power's first ever podium, and what an awesome job they have done, particularly on the second half of this year, particularly with that driver.
We saw Power frighten us and everyone else at Edmonton when he had that huge wreck before the race, when he went skating through the grass and walloped a Jersey barrier a ton. That could have really cost him a lot of momentum, but he bounced back nicely. Cameron Steele.
Well, I've caught up with Justin Wilson now, and now taking a look, he's got the ice pack on the hand and the brace. And how much pain are you in right now, Justin?
Can't feel anything right now. The adrenaline's taken over, but it's one hell of a race. We're just hanging on for that last 10, 12 laps, with wearing out the Bridgestone wets on this dry condition, so I knew it's going to be tough, but it's how it happens. Just couldn't hang on that last half a lap.
Take us through the pass. Were you surprised to see Sebastian dive inside, and how much contact was there?
There's quite a bit. It hit the steering wheel, and I wasn't surprised, but I didn't think it was completely on, but I'll give it to him. He managed to make it happen, so we'll go on from here, and we'll make it happen next year.
Did it add any pain to the wrist there, that contact at the end?
A little bit, yeah. It definitely rattled the steering wheel, which wasn't good, but I got a few months now to recover.
Congratulations, Justin. A great year, and Ironmanning it here at Mexico City. Let's go over to Jan Beekes.
And with Sebastian Bourdais getting the congratulations from the crew. And owner, Paul Newman just asked him about a baby. You're expecting a child, but let's talk about the race, those last 2 laps. Unbelievable.
Well, first I want to say hi to Claire. She stayed home, and I hope she didn't stress out too much, but I'll be back tomorrow, and I hope everything's well.
Tell me about the pass on Justin Wilson on the final lap.
Well, that was a tough deal. You know, I really felt that we could win the race, but I didn't want to take him out because, take any chance to take him out because he had everything to lose, and it was just one heck of a deal at the end. I got a good run, went around the outside, and when we arrived at turn 6, I said, I can slide the car side by side, which I had like 3/4 of the car, and he didn't open the line, and I had to use the curb, the bounce. We touched a little bit, but I was kind of pretty sure that wheel to side pod should be all right. So, it was just a crazy race. I made up for a big mistake I made trying to catch him earlier in the race, and very, very happy for the Magnol's crew. It just, it just highlights everything we've done this year, and a great win again.
You have won a lot of races. Does this go to the top of the list as far as what you've been able to do behind the wheel?
Well, it's just at the beginning, I felt the car was really strong, and all of a sudden we lost the rear bridges and tires, and it's too bad because I really felt, we had everything under control, but I didn't resist Justin. I knew we had the better car at that time, and I said, we'll see what happens later in the race. Then when it started raining, it was kind of equal. I was catching him a little bit, but trying really hard, spun the car, and the rest, it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, Bourdais surprises us, I think, Derek Daly. It didn't look as though he had much of a shot there with a couple of laps to go, but driving nicely through the wet, he gets his 7th win of the year. We take you back, show you some of his triumphs this year. He opened the year with 4 in a row, beginning at Long Beach when he was the dominant force. Came from behind on the streets of Houston around Reliance Stadium at night. Of course, had that win in Monterrey, Mexico back in the month of May. And then at the Milwaukee Mile, came from behind there and won his first ever oval track victory. Also a winner this year at San Jose. And then was the dominant player on Monday in Montreal. Came back and won the championship, of course, at Surfers Paradise with an 8th place finish. Caps off a great season, his 7th win in 14 starts. Bourdais the winner here in Mexico City. Bourdais defeats Wilson and Power, Junqueira and Tagliani, the rest of the top 5. Servia gets credit for 6th. In front of Philippe. Those are the cars on the lead left, and it's Ranger, David Martinez, and Buddy Rice run 9th and 10th for the Forsyth Championship Racing Squad. We'll be back with more from the Champ Car Grand Prix of Mexico City in just a moment. Back in Mexico City as Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series, powered by Ford. Season finale complete here at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. Sebastian Bourdais, a last lap pass for the victory. The annual Greg Moore Legacy Award is one way Champ Car pays homage to its past. The well-loved Canadian who lost his life back in '99. 4 nominees for that honor this year: Alex Tagliani, Justin Wilson, Nelson Philippe, and James Hinchcliffe. And you can help vote for this year's Greg Moore Legacy Award winner at the website champcar.ws. Cameron.
Well, I've caught up with Will Power, the new Rookie of the Year. He's with team owner Derek Walker. And Will, what a great season and a great way to finish it with your first podium.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, it's a full credit to the team. We've just got stronger and stronger as the years gone on, and to finish up winning the Rookie of the Year here and also getting a podium is just excellent. Thanks, man.
Speedy Dan coming up to congratulate him. That's who he beat for the Rookie of the Year. And I want to ask you about this track. Did it go away quite a bit with the water, and then was it tough to stay out on the wet tires?
Well, yeah, at the end there it was pretty much a dry track, and the wet tires got a little bit mushy, but it was all, I mean, you would have lost too much time coming and getting slick, so we did a really good strategy.
Yeah, great job by Will Power. Derek Walker, I just want to ask you, is he coming back with you guys next year? Not to put you on the spot.
No, you put me on the spot. I guess we'll have to have him back, but I got to say, my partner, Craig Gore, isn't here today, but I'm sure he's watching, so thanks, Craig. Thanks for everything.
There you have it. Will Power coming back with Team Australia and send it back upstairs.
And we look forward to seeing Power's development continue in Champ Car come 2007. Huge crowd remaining here to enjoy the post-race festivities. It's been a wonderful Champ Car World Series season. We'll be back to cap it off for you in Mexico City. Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series powered by Ford. Our coverage today being brought to you by Ford. Bold moves. They happen every day. And by Bridgestone Tires. Passion for excellence. As we welcome you back, Victory Lane ceremony is ongoing here at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez with Derek Daly. I'm Rick Benjamin. Sebastian Bourdais sprays the champagne for the 7th time in 2006. Last lap pass of Justin Wilson, who was hanging on by his own admission as Bourdais celebrates. Everybody enjoying. The pressure's off of the championship. You could just race hard here today, and Bourdais gets it in return from Justin Wilson. If you missed any of the action today, or you want to see the race again, Champ Car Grand Prix of Mexico City re-airs Wednesday, November 15th, this coming Wednesday, at noon Eastern only, here on Speed. It was a great show. A lot of excitement, wet weather racing for a while, and a last lap pass. Bruno Junqueira comes home fourth, Jan Bikas.
Yes, just one step off the podium. Bruno, how tough today in these changing conditions?
It was really difficult, especially when you decide to go from dry to wet, because the last corner starts to get really wet and the rest of the track dry. I made a call, then I said, no, let's wait another lap and wait 2 laps until it was really wet. But I think the Nima Haas team did a great job, and unfortunately the car today built up so much and this year couldn't keep up the pace.
All right, we'll look forward to seeing you next year. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bruno Junqueira with a smile, 4th place. He had higher hopes than that coming in here today. It's going to be a great 2007. 15 races announced, 2 more in the balance. It's an awesome April. We start in Las Vegas on the 8th and Long Beach in Houston. The month of May, we'll see the series moving to China for the first time ever, Zhuhai. Portland and Cleveland, San Jovite for the first time ever in Canada. And Toronto, Edmonton, San Jose, Elkhart, and Denver again. And then we close Mexico City and Phoenix in December. Well, coming up next on Speed, it is Speed's Test Drive. I want to thank you for being with us throughout a terrific 2006 Champ Car World Series season. It has been an enjoyable ride for us, and we look forward to the coming years. For Derek Daly, Jan Bikas, and our Desert Assassin, Cameron Steele, I'm Rick Benjamin. We congratulate our champion, Sebastian Bourdais. We'll see you next spring.
Yesterday, a clear horizon. Now the clouds are rolling in, it's disappeared. Pride only thinks about the glory and just the right now and not the days ahead. It's the end of the road when something ends, something begins. But now it's just the end of the road when someone loses, someone wins. But now it's just the end of the road. Don't get to fix it if it doesn't break. But now it's just the end of the road.